Okay. Okay, we're tweeted out. All right, guys, let's pound it out. When in doubt, pound it out. Hmm. Oh. So can I do anything here? No, it doesn't look like I can.
Don't push yourself too much.
Fancy a bit of it?
Well, maybe you should go check, dingus.
What?
All right.
Can I come in?
Oh.
Want to read some more?
Not today. You're all leaving tomorrow, right? I'll be cheering for you. So I just... Oh no. I promised Miss Fabian I wouldn't cry.
It's all right. I won't tell her.
Papa was trying to stop a bad man, you said. And that's what you're all doing too, isn't it? Please come back home safe. I'll be waiting here as long as it takes.
It's a promise.
All right. Promise? The next time I see you again, can you tell me more about the outside world?
This one's important.
I never got a chance to say this to Papa. So, thank you. I'll go to bed now.
Captain, may I have a moment?
Good night.
Oh.
I was hoping for a chance to speak before we set out. Since our meeting, I've done nothing but impose on you. Now you risk your very life for this cause. 'Tis no easy burden. It pains me to see. When I think of how this man can save his highness, I lose sight of all else. Such disregard ill becomes me.
Don't Don't worry about it.
'Tis kind of you to say. But that book, we met once before, on a carriage bound for the capital. Do you recall?
Now that you mention it, I do.
My apologies. I thought only to minimize casualties, one way or another. So, 'tis a novel envisioning an ideal world. Curious to see a utopian novel these days. I'd thought them long since banned. Ah, you needn't worry. I've no intention of taking it from you. I've sometimes wondered why such books were forbidden. Rumors say the Sanctists objected to their contents. Yet I wonder, how could a simple book have possibly stung them so? Do you mind if I read a passage or two? So, it is a fiction written as if a personal account. This chapter seems to concern the system by which the nation's leader is decided. In this country, one cannot become even a statesman, much less sovereign, without the consent of the people. Those who aspire to statecraft must first solemnly swear before the people what they will do in service of their country. Should they earn title but break their word, they are denounced and stripped of power. Such is the authority of the people. In this way, it is the people who are the land's true king. Quite the opposite of our own country. Now I see why our upper echelons would abolish such texts. Had our lands embraced such accountability, perhaps His Royal Highness would not have suffered such a fate. No. As a knight, it's not my place to say. I must clear my head of these fantasies. In the end, clinging to a dream will do me no good. Oh, I suppose 'tis not so bad to dream now and then. It takes power to walk the path of our dearest hopes. Perhaps that is the purpose of this newfound strength. My dearest dream. 'Tis to save His Highness, even at the cost of my life. Nothing more.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
No, here we go.
Lady Juna!
Oh shit, we got a new waifu. A new waifu has entered the arena. Maybe. Oh yes, let's go. Dude, look at that outfit. It looks like origami. So is she like this universe's Ariana Grande or something?
Even I'm feeling the heat. Well, I suppose it's time to fan the flames. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the inauguration of the Tournament for the Throne! For the first time, the crown is anyone's to claim, as long as the aspirants can complete 3 grueling challenges.
Wow, a Sanctus Crier! He's perfect for this!
Let's discuss the venues. We kick off in the west, in the Pearl of the Coast, the Principality of Oceania's harbour city capital, Port Brilehaven. There, they face their first challenge, the Exhibition of the Brave. Each contender must bring back the head of a monster, a mark of their prowess and courage.
Yeah, Austin, I kind of can relate to that in some way.
From the misty peaks, we arrive in the Principality of Montario's beautiful city of faith, Altaberry Heights. And finally, our heroes make their well-deserved return home to Grand Trad. But first, let's do introductions. It's time to meet those risking their lives for the crown. Closest to the throne, I know him, you know him. It's Sanctism's one and only 78 Sanctifex, His Eminence, Forden!
Victory to Sanctifex Forden!
I mean, not exactly, Austin, but I know what you're saying.
I claim no great ambition, nor any heated calls to action. All I wish is to restore order for our people and to safeguard our land from the threats beyond. This chaos we face is but one of God's many trials. Let us restore our kingdom's glory together!
Moving right along, we come next to His Eminence's champion, the very spear in his hand, the warrior monk captain of the Crown Theocracy, Master Giddo!
I come before you only in loyal service of His Eminence. I relinquish the throne to him gladly. But those who would seize the crown by force, I will teach you to fear God and to fear me!
So much for this being a fair competition. How many horses do the Sanctus have in this race? Still, it's not over by far. The Luis supporters won't take this lying down.
What cowardice, Crier! Where's Count Louise?
All right, settle down. At this time, I can report that Count Louise has not applied to enter the tournament.
What? He's not even entering?
Then what becomes of us? Our entire purpose in this race was to get closer to him.
Don't worry. He's definitely paying attention. He's only in second as it is, so we can't afford to ignore this whole production. Sit tight. I'm sure he'll make a move soon.
All right, all right. For those Count Louise supporters, you might want to meet our next entrant. A rising socialite, a man of ambition, godless and fearless, the brash young warrior serving Count Louise, Gladel,
No.
the Black Hound.
Him? So he was one of Luis's men.
The fallen king embraced Sanctism and all its holy tenets, and for what? He was nothing before Lord Luis. Look to the sky all you wish. No god can save you! What our country needs is power!
Well, it's not quite all the contenders, but let's get on with the introductions. The great liberal merchant, it's Roger Ward. By war, by conquest, by right, it's Rudolph Kraus. In it more for the gauntlet runners than the throne, it's Lena Caden. Sure
Whoa.
to be popular by pledging free drinks for life, it's Loveless O'Shea. Uplifting the beautiful...
Why are all these women running?
It's Milo Maurizio.
Wow.
A woman can never be
who's
king.
this? I think the country has some even bigger problems.
Now, I do believe we have one final candidate. Do we have an Elden boy present? Come on, let's see a face.
You double Elda.
What? An elder? Disgraceful. Is this the only way you could think to distinguish yourself?
I should start doing the David Stern.
By the way, the ride you applied with still hasn't arrived. And if it doesn't show up by the time the noon bell rings,
you're disqualified. All right?
Hey! What's going on?
That nitwit! What is he doing?
So, contestants, are you ready?
What? Last, I say! Wait! Found your behave!
Oh, it's Sid.
A land runner? It's quick!
Wait, it's headed right for the... It'll crash!
Whoa!
What the heck is that?
Wonderful. So much for a first impression.
Isn't she a marvel, chums?
You dolt! You nearly brought down the cathedral! Have a care, you fool. It was bad enough when Luis did it the first time. That feckless, shameless old fool.
Not bad, kid. Guess you've got some interesting tricks up your sleeve after all.
Right! I call that a full roster. Ladies and gentlemen, race across the land. Go, prove yourself worthy and earn your crown. For the people, for the throne. Let the games begin.
We must take to the road.
Come on, come on! So fast! Gotta hold on to something or I'll get blown up!
It's incredible!
I saw some of it, Austin, yeah. Doing my job.
Just a sec.
Can you hear me?
Let's see.
I mean, that's what I felt like, Austin.
This place here.
That's where you want to go. Oh, I smell trouble. Oh, I smell... Let's see here. Let's see.
This place.
Wow!
Oh.
Spectacular!
What's this guy's deal? I want to know more about him.
This is amazing! I don't know a thing about gauntlet runners, but even I can tell this is a hell of a craft. I can hardly believe she's ours to drive.
You're telling me, lad? Feels like ages since I've been out on the open road. This girl's been waiting long enough for her time to shine.
So this is what you use to talk with the driver? Convenient, that. Look, old fellow, are you really on our side? You realize we don't have funds to pay you.
Money? Ha! I'm not in this for the money, boy. What I want is a little gusto. What do you think, lad? Isn't this a rush?
It is at that. Like riding the wind.
That's the ticket. It's been so long since I've had a good chinwag.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You've a good head on your shoulders, boy. Yes, I can tell you're a sharp one. Where to, ladies? The world is our shellfish.
You certainly are a different person behind the wheel.
Hey, Hulkenberg! Can we get an explanation yet?
Yeah. I mean, it's not terribly surprising, I guess.
That man is Neurus. An Ishkia, if 'twas not obvious from the wings. And despite...
Oh, he's got wings.
he was heir to a noble house and personal machinist for the royal family.
What?
He's a master engineer, of course, positively peerless. But as you can see, the runners get him a bit... excitable. Neurus? Are you there? I'm coming in.
Oh, flashback.
Even amidst all this commotion in town, I find you buried in your...
I mean, Hillary's still a terrible human being, but I know what you mean.
Too much to do.
As always. To business, then. I must ask a favor. Would you be able to ready a carriage for me?
No new commissions. No time for them. Ask another right.
It is not the new one I require. Before His Highness disappeared, did you not accept a contract to build him a custom carriage? Without a formal owner, I reasoned that it must now lie unused. I was hoping I might borrow it a short while.
But, pish and tosh, woman. She is for royal use and naught else.
'Tis an unreasonable request, I know. But I'd not be asking without a grave need. I'd at least see it.
I mean, well,
'Twas specially made for His Highness, yes? Not a work you'd have sold off. Where lies it now?
I've deadlines to meet, dash it. Off with you now. Leave me be.
You've been acting stranger than usual. What ails you?
Whoa!
Good God.
Oh. Well, that was easy. Oh, wait a minute. Is that purple and green?
A gauntlet runner?
That's an Ava reference, too.
Commissioned for His Highness the Prince? Even knowing His Highness was gone, still you toiled away. Oh, Neurus, you are an inspiration. Such nobility of purpose.
Yes. Right.
However, for a craft meant for the royal family, it is rather excessive, isn't it? Did you really build this vehicle exactly to their orders? You cannot mean...
Well, at first, certainly. I followed the blueprints exactly. But then His Highness died, and... well, I couldn't just let the old girl waste away. A masterpiece like her, collecting dust in storage? No! Unacceptable! Unthinkable! I'm working toward a dream. And this poor old girl is going to help me see it through. And then, finally...
You imbecile! A lowly, brazen court engineer butchering His Highness's inheritance for a hobby! For this mania! You embezzled the royal treasury and disrespected his legacy! Treason!
Mercy, please! Look, take my head if you must, milady. But leave the value runner alone.
Look, this runner... it is fully operational now.
Yeah, I think Sunday's going to tell us a lot. I'm going to learn a lot from that game. Austin, I just didn't think it made any sense. I wasn't paying attention, really, back then, to be honest.
Then I suggest you cooperate, for both our sakes. Finish your tinkering by tomorrow and bring it to the Grand Cathedral as soon as you can.
Hey? What's all this now? You play the proud soldier at me and then pluck it for your own schemes?
'Tis no scheme. I would use it for His Highness's sake.
For His Highness, eh?
called a tick? Haven't you been looking for him? Wandering across God knows where, last I heard. So if you're back now and now you want a gauntlet runner for His Highness, is His Highness still alive? That's it! I've got you, haven't I?
'Twas His Highness who gave you refuge while you were only a heretical scholar condemned by the Sanctists. The time has come to repay his mercy.
Understood.
Yeah, I was just doing a thing.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Is that enough? Can this old duck really handle an undercover operation?
I know what you're thinking, but 'tis at least
Man.
true that he feels an undying debt of gratitude.
Did you see any footage of the Kamala Fox interview?
I saw most of it now, yeah.
Bro, that moment when Brett Baer's like 79% of the country thinks that the country's on the wrong track, that is going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Feel about that? Because, you know, for the last 3.5 years, that's been you as the vice president, and 79% of the country thinks it's on the wrong track. What exactly are you going to do as president that is going to be different than you as vice president? And her response was to go, well, you know, Donald Trump has been running this whole time, too. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? You stupid bitch.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
She's completely lost her mind. She's as cooked as it gets, man.
Well, did you see the conversation Obama and Biden were having at the wake for Ethel Kennedy? That people are trying to, like, lip read? Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, I mean, I can send you the fake one. But,
works for me.
The video is real. I think you'll quickly find the audio is not, so I'll just tell you that it's not. But I imagine there are lip syncers out there trying to figure this one out for real.
I'm sure.
He knows the prince is alive, so we can't just leave him to his own devices. We're all in the same boat. Or runner, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them, Austin. Never seen a single pro Dave Reichart ad, which obviously tells you that he knows he won't win. But, you know, that's obviously whatever. And I also have a new Grok story when you're done with that.
So, if I can understand what you're saying correctly, the guy Maximus, that tweet that you posted, is the attempt at the real audio, and then Kim.com's thing was like a meme. Was that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a meme.
Kim's Maximus is right now. So for all I know, Kim's is very obviously a meme because I'm going to click on it and Biden's going to be like, "What are you doing here, you bleep?"
I seriously doubt it's the real audio, but I mean, I guess stranger things have happened.
What it sounds like to me is that it's not the real audio. It's because those are two extremely notable figures, and many millions of hours of AI training has gone into making those voices. So I think this guy probably attempted to do the lip reading, and then based off of what he thought they were talking about, plugged it into an AI generator, and that's what he got. Because that certainly doesn't sound like the way that Biden talks.
Right.
Straight up.
Uh-huh. But it does seem like they're unhappy about something.
Yeah.
You lot can handle the fighting, and I'll handle all the driving and grease work. Just make sure you've got a proper plan for all this mess.
Trump did not flip the Nate Silver model quite yet. He is still within less than 1%.
This guy's got no filter. But he has a point. We do need to talk strategy.
So, summing up. Our first trial is to slay a monster. We take its head as proof, then get it to the goal line before the deadline. The bigger the head, the better. Our destination is Port Brylehaven, the capital of the Western Principality of Oceania. It'd be a trek on foot, but this gauntlet runner should make it a snap.
So getting the bounty's head is our next move. And our target is a nefarious criminal who's been kidnapping and selling off children. Right?
A criminal? Did the task not specify a monster's head?
Don't worry, all part of the plan. We don't need to win this thing. We just need to get Luis's attention. Everyone's going to show up with monster heads, and we shake things up with a felon. A knight-turned-kidnapper at that. Shows them we're there for justice.
But to deliberately violate the rules, we risk being disqualified entirely. Then again, 'tis just as likely to win the people's attention and thereby Luis's. I do understand the intent. What do you think of this plan?
I think it's a perfect idea.
Makes sense, doesn't it? The bounty's Heisme, an ex-knight. I realize that's a little close to home, Hulkenberg, so if you'd rather hang back...
No. His title is precisely why I cannot let his atrocities stand. And yet, 'tis strange indeed that we are hunting a mere man when the trial demands a monster. Then again, our true aim is beyond the ambitions of any other aspirant. Our fate rests in this plan of yours, Stroll.
Thank you. I'll try to ensure your trust isn't misplaced.
Right, then our course is set. Feel free to use anything in the gauntlet runner. Even got a bathing room if you could use a wash.
Good to know. We can always look around more thoroughly later.
Yes. You needn't tire yourself out before we arrive.
And this, I don't know where people are getting this shit from when they say this, regardless of whether they're on our side or not. Just anytime I've heard this ever. This guy's response is, he, referring to Biden, is being removed before the election, install Kamala, and then start a war to create martial law to keep her in power that leads to delaying the election. And I'm like, I don't even know why the fuck anyone has ever come up with that shit ever. Because there was a presidential election during the Civil War, for Christ's sake, and that didn't result in the election being delayed for blah blah reasons. Didn't happen during either World War. Like, how the if anyone was ever actually stupid enough to try that shit, it would so obviously not fucking work. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
I just don't understand where people come up with that shit, man.
Well, it's just like the people who think they can print out an infinite number of ballots instantly to rig elections. Like, it's not like that. Yes, there is a process by which you can water down the result, but it takes a lot of time, and it takes precision, and it takes preparation, and
it also takes a lot of money. And if the situation with Hollywood gives us any clue as to what's happening right now, it's that they're running out of the jukebox, man. Larry Fink is going broke. They've been spending a lot of money for a really long time. At some point, they're gonna hit the fucking bottom, you know.
I suppose.
Like, you didn't respond to it, so I don't know if you did or not. But did you hear the news that Joker 2 is expected to be a $200 million loss for the studio?
I think I did. Yeah.
So yeah, like imagine you're an executive for the studio and you just immediately greenlit the sequel because the first one made $1 billion, and you're like, holy shit, this is exactly what we need right now. And then the cocksucker that made the movie is like, oh well, I have to make this a struggle session so that they'll let me back into all the tiny hat parties because they're mad at me that my movie was too good. And then you lose $200 million, like. You know that you basically you're never going to work in that industry again when you're the executive who greenlit this. Like, man, he's got to be pissed. I just don't have a clue how that shit happens, man, for real. How they spent so much money on something that they didn't know that the guy was going to make it bad on purpose.
Are you familiar with the web series? I think it's called like Pitch Meeting.
No.
It's part of the same group that does Honest Trailers. It's basically like they take a movie, usually a movie that wasn't particularly good or was at the very least somewhat stupid, and then they reenact what the pitch meeting for that movie must have been like in a comical, over-the-top way to illustrate how stupid it is. And they did one for Joker 2 a little while ago. So, when is Joker going to be in this Joker movie? Oh, he's not.
Jesus.
I like the memes about how, like, I guess it was Todd Phillips said, oh, he was never the Joker. He was always just this guy named Arthur Fleck. So then they edit the poster of the original Joker movie to just say Arthur Fleck instead of Joker.
Wow. That is comedy. I mean, even though it's absolutely despicable, in a way, you've got to respect the hustle. Like, my God.
Hey!
You really? Damn.
You know, the funny thing is, to me, the idea of a movie where you have a superhero movie, even where you have a character that tries to do the right thing and keeps getting shit on for it, is something that was already the basis of one of the best superhero movies ever, Spider-Man 2. And that's kind of what Joker was. It just different conclusion. It just had a different ending.
That's a fantastic point. Could you imagine if Doc Ock just raped Spider-Man? The power of the sun in the palm of your hand. Oh, Jesus.
I wonder if Sam Raimi got kicked out of pointy hat meetings.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like how The Dark Knight and The Watchmen both presented the same moral quandary but came to different endings. Whereas The Dark Knight's lesson was that humanity is worth saving. The Watchmen was more like, no, it's really not. It came to the opposite conclusion.
And it should be noted, because this is very valid, Zack Snyder, who I despise, who directed the Watchmen movie, would go on to inherit the DC cinematic universe literally from Christopher Nolan, who was like, yeah, this is the guy you should do it, because Christopher Nolan was going to make Man of Steel. But then he was like, no, I don't want to be the DC guy. You know, I don't want to be the comic book guy like fucking, Joss Whedon is from Marvel, so forget that. So he said, "Yeah, you guys should get Zack Snyder to do it." So Zack Snyder took over, and he just ruined everything, and he made those movies awful, and they suck, and everyone hated them because of what you're saying, where they had the same basic premise as being the story arc and conclusion, but they went towards opposite conclusions that they drew. Like they went in different directions.
Right.
So the guy who made the incredibly popular Batman movies went one direction, and then Zack Snyder went another, and then Zack Snyder comes in and says, "I'm going to keep going in that other direction that I did instead of the opposite direction that the guy who made billions of dollars did," and then he fucked everything up, and it was awful, and it ruined the studio basically. I think that's really funny, you know.
It is pretty funny.
I hate Zack Snyder. I'm watching this thing that Sandy just sent me. Holy shit.
This right here. All right.
I'm counting on you.
Of course.
I see.
Oh man, that was insane.
Did you see the two stories I sent you, by the way? Yeah.
No, I'm gonna read them now. I'm just doing everything in order here.
I see. Fascinating. This right here. All right.
I'm counting on you.
Of course.
The first one, I thought Grok did an amazing job because all I told it was to do a story where Shinji starts a tradition of ripping his shirt off before he gets into the Eva, like Hulk Hogan, while Hulk Hogan's theme music plays. And then it did all of that.
Alright, let me see here. And the bridge bunnies. Uh-oh.
A new power to wield.
Is that Hulk Hogan's music?
I see. Fascinating. This right here. All right.
I'm counting on you.
Of course.
The fucking mech has a bandana like Hogan.
Like, I was really impressed with how far Grok has come with the details they can do.
I see. I've acquired a new power.
Oh man. Yes, it did the leg drop. Oh man.
You'll come again.
The only thing that's missing is instead of killing it, he should have pinned it for the 3 count. And then Masato's like, "Shinji, you fucking idiot, this isn't a wrestling match, you're supposed to kill it." And he's all like, save that for the heel turn. New world order of wrestling, brother. Oh man, that was an all-time GOAT moment, man. Have you ever watched that footage?
You mean when he comes out with his steel chair and hits fucking
Well, no, it wasn't the chair. But when he turned on, I think it was Macho Man. But when he formed the NWO initially.
I mean, I've seen it. I haven't seen it in so long though.
Okay, so I've got this idea for a Grok story to build off of the one that you did.
Did you read both or just the first one?
Only the first one. Could you send me the prompt for the first one?
Yeah, sure.
I've got a plan.
It was a very simple one. And that's why I was so impressed. Grok has done a really good job of taking.
And yeah, that's fine. But I'm just gonna take the ball and run with it.
Okay. There we go. I do.
Understood. Come on.
Yeah, okay, that could be useful.
Speaking of,
Oh, hell yeah, baby. Let's cook. Oh, cool. This game is actually a Breaking Bad spinoff.
All right.
Hey, Flyhawks, how you doing?
Sorry.
So I was watching a little bit of the Dead Rising remake. It looks much easier than the first one.
Yes. That's definitely accurate. That's because with a massive amount of quality of life improvements, there was really nowhere to go but to make the game way easier. Because like a lot of the difficulty that existed in the game, which you know very well from having played it, was because of a lot of things that they needed to fix and make better. And if you get rid of things that weren't actually part of the difficulty but were instead just bad game design, then the game gets way easier.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives at the desert camp as the scorching sun sinks below the horizon, and the curtain of night falls over the land. Protected within the stalwart hull of the Gauntlet Runner, the party gains a short, peaceful respite.
That's right.
Oh, okay, I see.
What now?
I can't fucking believe that the Overwatch official Twitter account is talking about feet stuff. Like, what the hell?
That was the official account that used the word grippers?
Yes.
Dude, that's horrifying. Also, why are feet grippers?
I don't know.
What?
It's probably
why not
sumo
hands?
slang.
It actually gripped something. Jordy, Barkley fucked up the settings again. Oh man. Yeah, I'm so proud of Barkley, dude.
Yeah, good for him.
Because he's like, I made that meme in 10 seconds. And people have been like, dude, in a just world, you'd be getting paid. He's all like, all I did was add a phone hand to a meme that already existed, which was just a still shot from their own product. You know, so like obviously I would never get paid, but even then, like I didn't really do anything. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh man, this is fucking cool. Meme I made getting used by one of the biggest corporations on the planet. That's pretty neat.
Then
Did you read the second story I sent you yet, by the way?
Oh, sorry. I have not because I'm still working on my own.
Okay.
All right.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Good morning.
True.
I knew it! Let's see here. And let's see here.
I did another one, and it ended up... I couldn't quite get it right, so I didn't send it to you. It was Asuka and Shinji trying to put on a theater production of Snow White, but instead of kissing Snow White to wake her up, Shinji just pees on Asuka's face.
And that's really funny.
But for some reason, the story refused to actually have him pee on her face. It had him pick up a bucket of pee and pour it on her face. I don't know why it thought that was better, but it really did.
Wow, where'd the bucket come from? And whose pee is that? Oh my god! I'll be right back.
That didn't sound good. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, cool, Flyhawks. I don't watch Sherman's podcast. Hmm.
Hey.
Sure, let's do it.
Got a moment? Hey. Aye. Look at that. Hey. Yeah. Right.
Hmm.
Right.
All right.
I say, we could stop for a break.
Coming now into
Kind of
view
sounds like
is
Jared
the
Harris.
prophecy, a resplendent tapestry of color against the backdrop of the bleak desert. One theory is that the tree's roots gorge on the land's magma, and still another is that it gorges on those enraptured by its colorful foliage, as though themselves snared by the bewitching mantle surrounding the tree. The Gauntlet Runner comes to a stop at its base.
Wow.
That's...
Certainly.
Hmm.
Hey. Hmm?
Yeah.
Hey there.
Huh?
Huh?
However,
All right.
All right. We're smarter now. Let's go.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives in a quiet clearing, concealed by boulders, as darkness reclaims the wilderness for itself. Monsters run rampant in the wilds. To sleep here would be perilous, unless from within the safety of a Gauntlet Runner. The party, secure in their Gauntlet Runner, spends the night in peace, hidden from hungry gazes.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well met.
Certainly.
I see.
All right.
No idea how that conversation would increase your imagination, but that's cool.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Finally! We're out of the desert! Oh wow! I missed all this green!
Why is it so bumpy?
That'd be the change in terrain, lad.
See, you got to let the suspensions get used to hard ground instead of soft sand.
Must be nice to fly everywhere.
What the? Did we just crash?
Of course not. That's
A cannonade.
No, really.
My star is rising! Ah!
Sanctism will reign! Ah!
Oh.
It's them. Remember, from the opening ceremony. I think one of them is Guido, Forden's confidant, and the other is Luis's man, Gladel.
Prominent candidates. Shouldn't the king's magic petrify them for their aggression?
No, see where they're aiming. They're not shooting to kill, just to take out the opposing runner's legs.
stuck out in the wilds with no working runner. Whether they survive or not, they're dashed well out of the race.
So 'tis a clash to hold each other's advance. Damned fools couldn't resist a show of force.
Look! Over by the legs. That crier is there too.
I see. Acting as witness to the higher candidate's conflict. It seems Gladel cannot match Godot's firepower.
What's our plan? If we just hang back and watch, Godot's gonna win. And Forden gets a leg up on the competition.
Hold on.
give
Yeah,
Liddell a
I thought so.
hand here. Good thinking. That way we could win Luis's regards.
Agreed. Let us ride to Glidell's aid.
I say, hold on. You realize you're a no-name candidate, eh? If he wants to shut you out, he'll not have to aim for just our legs.
It's a runner, isn't it? If things get too dicey, we'll just run. Didn't you say we had the fastest craft around?
Fine. Suppose there's no room for caution if we want the world's eyes on us.
Okay, then it's settled. Let's make sure he owes us big.
There should be an external runner boat out there.
We're here to help. Withdraw, brother. Who goes there? Why do you stand for Luis's forces?
Well, sorry. Can't get into it now.
That gauntlet runner. You're that commoner candidate who destroyed the Grand Cathedral. Was that not enough? You would profane the sacred a second time. So be it. In God's name, be thou punished.
You're back?
Yeah.
Everything good?
I heard the sounds of a cat fight. I was like, oh, uh-oh.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I went down. There was a huge mess, and one of the cats had been severely bullied. Trying to help her.
We of the Crown Theocracy's monk army have silenced all who would oppose the eminence of God. Your petty ruses are beneath me. Now you shall know how powerless you truly are.
Remember, the king's magic means we cannot move to strike Godot himself.
Go for his followers first. We'll thin their numbers and turn the tide.
Go, my brethren! Put the fear of God into these impious commoners!
Don't forget about the petrification magic!
Are you prepared?
I'll show you the fire.
Ignite! I crush you!
Now, what warrior? I'll cut you down.
Resistance is futile.
Only a flesh wound.
Wow. Well, you know what you could try doing? Maybe you should try getting a job. I can't believe that. Why would you... This doesn't make sense. I'm a professional basketball player. I should be able to afford a $96,000 a year apartment. You know what you could do is just not rent a $96,000 a year apartment.
So I was unironically making more money than her when I had a like typical job.
That makes sense. You provide a lot more value to society.
Now she's on a rookie deal, I get that, but still, that's wild.
But I mean, if she's gonna bitch and whine about her salary, like, hey, I've got an idea. Get some endorsements. You know, Caitlin Clark's got quite a few of those.
Start an OnlyFans.
She'd probably lose money if she did that.
What could you hope to achieve?
Hulkenberg's down. Someone help her get back in the fight.
Here.
My spirit is unbroken. Here.
I shall seize my chance. More resilient than I expected. I would lose nothing by conceding this fight. But the faithful are watching. For the sake of my dear brethren, I must hold nothing back. Now, feel the righteous truth of sanctism engraved upon your flesh.
Does this mean he's getting free?
Rise, my brothers.
Okay, here's...
Kneel before
those things I was working on.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reset this fight. Yeah. I'll be right back,
Okay,
guys.
so now that I've finally gotten through everything, uninterrupted.
I'm back. So what'd you think? Hello?
What's up?
Oh, okay, there we go. I can hear you now. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was a lot better when I was listening to the LA Beast video in question. My favorite part is just that music. It's just so good. Oh, I wanted to ask you real quick, because I don't think we're back on stream yet.
No, we are on stream.
Oh, well, never mind. It's not that big a deal anyway.
I'll let you know when we're off
There's a
stream.
guy.
I'll let you know.
Well, what I meant is it's not that big of a deal to say it on the stream, so I'll just say it.
Okay.
You know, because since you mentioned that you wanted us to look in role requests more often, I see a guy in there and his name is White, but I click on him and he's not in the server anymore.
Yeah.
What happened?
Sometimes people just come in and leave. Like that guy that you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. I gave him a role, and then not too long after he left. I don't know. Maybe he looked in the politics channel and didn't like what he saw. Who knows?
Maybe he scrolled down to see all the channels and he saw one that said fart.
I mean, maybe.
You disgrace the Sanctus way.
Don't forget about the petrification magic.
Give me your aid. Not the right move. Warrior! I'll cut you down.
Have a good day. Well, I told the doctor what I did, and he had absolutely no sympathy for me.
Yeah. Man, the closer that we get to the election, the more polls are coming out that have Trump actually in the lead.
Yeah.
Or, you know, even if they're completely deranged, they're still saying like it's neck and neck. And it's like Trump has literally always overperformed from the polls, so at this point you have to assume that he will win.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of by how much. But like if pretty much every poll in America is now saying that at the absolute worst he's tied, when this is the same guy who outperforms some of these cooked polls by like 9 or more points, he's gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, these pollsters want to at least be close to being right, which is why one thing I've noticed over the last couple of weeks is like 90% of polls are tied. And I feel like they're just going to keep it there for the rest of the polling cycle. Because that way, no matter what happens, they can protect themselves and be like, see, I told you.
Yeah, then they'll be like, hey, it doesn't matter that Trump outperformed my poll by like 7 points. I still had him winning. I just didn't think he'd win by this much. Or, you know, some shit like that. Like that's the cope that Nate Plastic uses.
Well, Nate Plastic's cope is that I am at the mercy of the pollsters. If they get it wrong, I'm going to get it wrong. Which is not completely invalid of a point.
Yeah, fair enough.
Coordination is key. And thus I end it.
This can't be. It's too early to go to his side.
This calls for one of these.
Unobliged.
Insolent heathens!
So, there's no way Kamala goes on Rogan now, right?
Oh, it's hard to say, because, like, she still easily could. Joe is almost never antagonistic in any way. Plus, he might be psyched to have, like, you know, say whatever you want about her. But, you know, even though she is part of the usurper crew. She still is technically the vice president of the United States. So that's a huge guest for Joe to get. So, like, he might be so starstruck in terms of, like, holy shit, look at this person that I got on my thing, that he might just, like, not even try in terms of having it be difficult in any way for her. He might just, like, try to be as casual
that's possible.
as possible. I could see that happening. Because even more is that, like, Joe Rogan is right-wing coded, but at the same time, he's not right-wing.
Oh, yeah.
He's a straight man who enjoys masculine things. But the fact that he's gone this long without endorsing Donald Trump and doing everything that he could to all but endorse Trump, you know, anyone who is capable of seeing that should know that he's not right-wing. However, lefty lunatics think that Joe Rogan is like as far right as they come, because he likes masculine things. So they'll just sit there and be like, oh my god, look, Kamala's fearless. She went on Fox and then she went on Joe Rogan's podcast. And it's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I guess. That's how they cope.
I mean, there is a lot of button mashing at play here for sure.
100%. But I mean, like, the only thing that I see on Twitter right now is a lot of people who belong in the crystals basically begging for mercy.
Right.
Being like, please don't put me in the crystals after Trump wins. It was all a prank. But yeah, nice try.
It's a prank, bro. The prank.
Exactly.
Do not forswear.
Don't forget about the petrification magic!
Warrior! Witness me, brethren!
Whoa, is that a Mad Max Fury Road reference?
I'm counting on you. Expose yourself. Join with me. We'll team up.
Behold my power.
How's the play? Warrior! I'll cut you down.
They're all going into a comically large blender.
Exactly. It's gonna have a cartoon face on it. See, I was initially thinking that it would be a cartoon face of, like, a character from Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that that weird black lady that they put in the Minecraft movie looks suspiciously like the black lady from the body cam footage a few days ago.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, it should be a cartoon version of the black lady from the body cam footage. Oh, man.
I don't know if you saw the communist cope about that on Twitter earlier. Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
The fact that there's any hope about it is hysterical to me.
Okay, I think this is it.
This was racism and abuse. He had a gun and she didn't. She was clearly having a psychotic episode. People having psychotic episodes do not deserve to be murdered. Wow, that is the most astonishingly retarded thing that I have seen in a very long time. Because the picture that he is posting, and because he doesn't want to quote tweet the person, because he's like, I don't want to valid, blah, 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 but, you know, he needs to show that he should not have included the picture if he was going to post that cope, because holy shit. 6.5 feet tall and over 300 pounds. She very clearly massively outsized this officer.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a knife, and by the end of the body cam footage, when he's like, you know, calling it in and shit on his radio, there's blood dripping down over the fucking camera. The camera's on his goddamn chest, and he got slashed in the head. So the blood running down over the camera is pretty fucking intense. Severe gash that he'd suffered. Moreover, you know, all the pictures of the guy, you know, showing him like, dude, he got fucked up. If he didn't have that gun, he'd be dead. And this guy's like, oh, she was clearly having a psychotic episode. And it's all like, well, you know what? When you have a psychotic episode, you're prone to being killed. Because a psychotic episode, oh, she's poor, misunderstood. And it's all like, you know what? I'm pretty sure those were the exact thoughts. The final ones that one dipshit in Brooklyn who like got stabbed by another guy having a psychotic episode.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that guy? I'm pretty sure that was the last thing that went through his head.
Yeah.
Oh no, this poor guy is having a psychotic episode. I wish he was white. Imagine what the racists are going to make of this one. Jesus Christ.
This should work. Thank you.
I hadn't seen that cope because I apparently blocked this guy. Which makes sense because he's very awful.
He's a communist.
Yeah. This is batshit insanity. He responds to his own post with another post. He says, one easy way to see why this is so fucked is to play out a thought experiment where the exact same situation unfolds the same way, but this time she's a billionaire's daughter. I'm sure she would still be alive. Right. That is one of the most insanely retarded things I've ever heard. If she was a billionaire's daughter and she was that big and just charged at a cop with a knife out, she still gets fucking shot, except the news talks about it way more. Like... Like, it's a very simple response to that. It's like, you know what? There are rich guys who do cocaine and fuck hookers every single day. But we don't hear about that on the news. Why did we hear about it when Hunter Biden did it? Oh, that's right. It's because he's the son of a rich and famous guy. That's why. Then, later on in the comments, he says, I want to abolish police. Oh my god, this fucking complete mongoloid. He goes, she did not need to die, he could have just tased her. He shot her multiple times and she was still charging at him full force at her top speed. He literally had to mag dump until she finally dropped. And that was after she'd ran, like, and chased him at least 100 feet. With, at that point, a torso full of lead. Like, you could have just tased her. What a complete idiot.
I have seen that Big Country, yeah.
What have you done to my gauntlet runner?
We've nothing to lose. At the very least, I can thrash your old clunker until it's inoperable.
This is a waste of my time. So be it. You'll face your divine punishment soon enough.
Man,
Finally, he took the hint.
I cannot believe that picture is actually, like, not AI generated. It looks like it has to be.
What are you
Yeah.
playing at? You think I owe you now or something? I would have been fine without your meddling.
I guess you survived
Man.
this time.
Don't you talk down to me.
I know that this is just engagement bait, though, because he's got the check mark.
Mm-hmm.
So he does paid from Twitter. So yeah, I guarantee this guy's being retarded on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why, Gladell, surely you can spare some manners for a crew that saved our lives? Honestly.
Sweet girl.
It got a bit ugly for my liking.
Well, well, well. Do my eyes deceive me? Juna the songstress in the flesh. What brings you all the way out here? A little tryst on the road, is it?
Nothing so saucy. I'm afraid this cad's just my chauffeur. Now please, darling, a little privacy, or I'll have to charge for an interview.
Fair enough, miss. Fair enough. Nothing you're not used to. Consider me chastened and shielded. Besides, I might have found another angle here that's just as promising.
You surprised me out there, love. You bested Godot. So you're not just a pretty face. You were more help than my useless driver, at least.
Look here. However talented and famed a songstress she may be, you must remember to contain yourselves.
Songstress? Wait, is she the same Nydia lady who sang at the opening?
If you saw this tweet from Dixon,
I probably haven't.
This guy posts a picture of a bunch of Indian guys together in what looks like a party bus and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The picture is captioned with "Name my band." So
Mm-hmm.
Dixon says "Against the Vagine." That's really good. I like that.
I'd know the suspensions anywhere. You have paid and workshop on this, eh? Yes, those are quality parts and no mistake. Luis really shells out for his own.
By the crown, you can't be serious.
Oh man, there's no way that Kamala and her supporters are going to be able to cope that she did good in this interview because Trump literally is like, "Hey, everybody should watch this. He got killed."
Oh, they're trying.
Oh man, that is hysterical.
So I guess one of the band members in fucking One Direction died. Huh.
Oh, is that the Liam Payne thing?
Yeah. Wild. Oh. Yeah, are you familiar with the Pokemon leaks like a few days ago? Have you been following that at all?
Something about some woman who worked for Game Freak apparently wrote a ton of fan fiction, although it's kind of higher than fan fiction because she actually works for Game Freak.
Yeah.
About Pokemon having sex with humans, which is extremely weird, and
yeah,
I think that she needs professional help. Something like that.
Yeah, basically, it was.
Okay.
It's pretty
horrifying.
wild, man.
Oh. Like, well, that works too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say horrifying.
It's something else.
It sure sounds like it, man.
Apparently, she was really, really into Tysplosion, which is not the
yeah
typical Pokemon that people want to have sex with. Usually, it's Vaporeon.
Usually, it's Gardevoir. Well, wait. Are you talking about who guys want to have sex with or who women want to have sex with? Because I don't know which Pokemon women want to have sex with. Maybe it's Vaporeon. But, like, the vast majority of Pokemon Rule 34 about actual Pokemon is Gardevoir, because it's, like, the most human-looking.
I would guess the most popular one among women would be Machamp. Because he's got 4 arms, and he's strong enough to, like, literally rip your guts out. Imagine it would be like, remember that fantasy
Jesus Christ.
that Archer, the Cheryl had about the firefighter strangling her to death while having sex with her?
Yes. Yes.
It would be like that. Here's my question, though. Was it a white woman?
No, the name was Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Does she have a dog? Because I have some
good
big
heavens.
concerns.
No one else wants to shake her hand? Well, on behalf of this group, I suppose it falls to me.
Man. You think that's bad? Wait until they look at the staff that writes Evangelion and finds the fan fiction that I wrote.
Oh no.
You're an interesting little ensemble. Wait, is that a fairy? A real living one? Where did you...
Hey, up there!
Oh, I thought that was a made you look gag. That would have been classic.
I'm trying to find the name of the author again, but it's super tough because every single fucking article that's talking about it is just the story.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's a Forbes article that's talking about this, which is really baffling to me. And it confirms that the lady was Japanese because a lot of the story that had been written about Typhlosion was an adaptation of a story in Japanese folklore. Plus, how many non-Japanese women even work for Game Freak in the first place?
Okay. I'm looking at Typhlosion right now, and I mean, it's... I mean, Typhlosion is basically what? A Wolverine, right? It's a Wolverine with fire coming out of its back.
I think the best way to describe it would be a fire ferret.
Yeah, I would not have thought that that would be where a woman's interest lay. That would not have been my first guess.
Yeah, Cyndaquil and his evolutions are like... I feel like they're the least popular fire starter in the whole franchise.
I like Cyndaquil, actually. I remember he was always the one I picked.
I love Generation 2. Was my absolute favorite. But when you think about it, like in terms of just people's popularity, I really feel like it's the least popular one, you know? Because think about it. Charizard, everybody loves that more.
Yeah.
Blaziken, everybody loves that more. Infernape.
I was
Fire monkey.
I was out of Pokemon by the time that stuff really started to take off, so I don't know Infernape very well. So I can't really speak to that, but
I'll try to find a picture. I am in the middle of starting a fucking
no, I can look that up.
things.
Yeah, he is kind of cool. Okay.
Well, yeah, but my favorite one by far is the black white fire starter.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they were initially coming up with the names, 4chan was memeing hard fucking core about it. They said they just guessed that the names would be Piglit, like L-I-T, like lit a flame.
Okay.
So Piglit, then Pignite, and then Pignition. So to this day, I still name my Tepig Pignition.
Mm-hmm.
But the really funny thing was they were actually right about Pignite. That's the middle. The first evolution is called Pignite, which was hysterical. But if I remember correctly, I think the final is named Mbor. Not 100%, but Ignition is still fucking based. Like, I love that. Also, he was just great because I love the firefighting combo. Is always my favorite of any kind of Pokemon. If there's a firefighting type, I love it. Because fire and fighting are my two favorite types. Fighting is my number one favorite, though.
So, yeah, Embor. It looks kind of like, it almost looks like a Golem. Not Golem the Pokemon, Golem like the folklore figure. Okay.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Embor is not a bad name, though. That's a decent pun. I can respect that. This probably kind of makes me, like a Pokemon boomer, but I really don't have much interest in anything other than the original 151, and to a certain extent, the next 100. After that, it got out of hand.
Yeah, I
like
get
the
that.
first 251, respect. After that, it was too much.
Yeah, I get that. A lot of people feel similarly, so don't feel too bad about that. I know you said it makes you feel like you're a Pokemon boomer, but a lot of people feel similarly, so I don't think it's something you should feel too bad about. Because when it comes down to it, it's like, what are you playing Pokemon for? I know that the catchphrase is "gotta catch 'em all," but like you're playing to make a team that you like. Yeah, you're playing to make a team that you like and then beat the Pokemon League. That's the whole point, is to win Pokemon battles, because that's the entire fucking game. So when you have ones that you like, that's great, because like it's hard to find the ones that you like in the other games if they're not available until after the game is over.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for, and maybe they've done this, I don't know, I've been out of the Pokemon thing for a long time, for them to do something where they just have like one game that is like the whole shebang, instead of releasing a bunch of different games that have a little bit of everything, and it's like you have to play like 8 different fucking games if you want the full Pokemon experience.
That one's tough.
Yeah. And they're not going to do it because they wouldn't make as much money, but... And it drives me insane that the Pokemon games they make on the Switch look like PS2 games. They're intentionally not putting work into making the games presentable or run well, because they know they don't have to, because Pokemon people will buy it anyway, even if the game runs like shit. Like, I've seen Pokemon games on the Switch run at 15 frames a second, and they do not care to fix it at all.
I'm sure. Sorry, don't much care. It would seem you had to clean up my associate's mess.
It drives me nuts. I don't want to reward that laziness with money.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Hence your retaliation against Godot.
He's also a candidate.
It's the same reason I don't buy Madden anymore. I don't want to reward EA for being lazy.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this when I was just rambling to myself, because I constantly do that shit to entertain myself while I'm driving to work, because it takes like a fucking hour. But I was talking about why video games are so shitty, but more importantly, why they can't make a good game. And I'm like, well, when you think about it, the Larry Fink bucks was like... a condition of getting the Larry Fink money was to do the diversity hires, So you're hiring people based off of their qualifications in terms of their skin color and sexual orientation. You're not hiring them based off their qualifications in terms of them actually being capable of fucking doing the job. So what happens when you run out of the Larry Fink money and you don't have anyone working there who can actually do anything.
Oh, come now.
You know, you end up in a situation where you're like, you know what? How do you make a game that people want to play? How do you make a game they want to buy? Well, step one is to hire people who actually give a shit. Wouldn't you know it, in a country where the majority of the population is white, it turns out that white people actually care way more than all of the browns that you're hiring. Oops. Young black men mostly play sports video games and shooters. They're not very interested in story-heavy RPGs. Not to say that there's no black guys who actually care about that kind
Oh
of
yeah,
thing.
I mean, I remember a few
You're
years
just not gonna
ago
want
seeing
much
a
of it.
lot of commercials for anime that had like black people in them. And not the animes had black people in them, but the advertisements for them were trying to appeal to black people. I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, they're trying to find that market. You know what
And
I'm saying?
failing miserably. Yes, yeah, I know. It's so fucking weird because it's like there's a really simple way to handle this, but they just don't want to do it.
You can't change the world without power, after all.
San Andreas ruined gaming. Yeah.
If you can manage that.
That's a little much.
Why would you say that?
No, Big Country said it in chat. I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, then that's I meant that towards him.
Okay.
Why would you say that San Andreas ruined gaming? Well, it's not that I disagree. I just want to see what the reasoning is because I've never heard that take before. Maybe I'm willing to bite on it.
No, he said he's joking. He said he's not serious.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
If there's one game that ruined gaming, I mean, would it be something like Fortnite?
Right then. That could have gone
No.
We're lucky we managed to connect with Luis this early.
What I think probably ruined gaming is Last of Us.
Even should we be accepted,
Really?
he'll be no ally of ours.
Had a lot of people interested in story-heavy games who should not be involved in gaming at all.
He wants to see our power, does he?
And a lot of the worst people, you know, they love that shit and congregate towards it. And you need to look no further than Last of Us 2 to see all the people involved are scum of the earth.
As the chirping birds return to their nests, and
You know, the original Last of Us came out so fucking long ago that it literally was on the PS3.
Right.
I think it was like 2013, maybe. And that's right around the time the video games started going to shit.
of the beguiling beings of the dark, the party never has to find out, for they are safe within the Gauntlet Runner.
I say, yeah, it works for me, bro.
I'm not. I'm not against it.
Did you hear that?
It's over. The end of the road. So
Is he in the toilet?
What?
In the game.
Go check on him.
Oh, I was like, what?
Hey, nurse, you okay?
Oh, you two. Terribly sorry. It's nothing, really.
Is there something troubling?
Did you just send me something?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, then I'll check it out when I can, but not right now.
The runner, is it? She's in top shape, but I wanted to make her peerless. An absolute beauty, you know, top of her class. that would make even old Luis's runner look like a burly apple cart. I'd not be floundering so much if I just had a bit of spark.
A spark?
Yes, my girl. A spark of inspiration. A moment of epiphany, like when I saw the lost relic.
Lost relic? Doesn't ring a bell.
Ah, yes, context. They say that long, long ago, there was a civilization so highly advanced it was beyond all modern understanding. Automation ruled the day. People lived surrounded by machinery with no need to work. Legend has it that they lived lives of convenience and comfort, but somehow that civilization just up and disappeared. God only knows what happened to them.
Sounds kind of far-fetched already.
Hear me out, would you? The point is, once in a stretch,
Man,
you hear about
S.
some
Mongold's
other-
career is legitimately over because of one thing he said, man. He lost all his sponsors, like, within a day.
I'm surprised.
Absolutely inscrutable to the layman, don't you know? But those in the know would recognize such a prize at a single glance.
Have you ever seen one of these yourself?
Oh, yes. When I was but a young sproglet, there was this loony old inventor in my neighborhood, both quite brilliant and quite daffy, as they often are. That old fellow only showed me his find once, but even seeing it lit a fire in me, like being struck by lightning. After that, it was like a boiling pot. Ideas, ideas, ideas rising to the surface. And my tinkering always came out marvelous. Some proper court engineer-worthy genius.
I've sent you a few different things now, by the way.
Utterly captured my
That's all right.
imagination. The lost relic, I mean.
Wow. You could try getting him to show you again.
If only I could. That old fellow went back to his own hometown. That single solitary glimpse of the past was all I had. The old goat. He told me he'd leave me the relic in his will.
Okay, so where's this guy's hometown?
Oh, some tiny hamlet somewhere on the outskirts of Martira. A village by the name of Camero or some such.
This one's important.
Okay. You can do that.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Isn't that...
Departing the capital and barreling southward, the party's gauntlet runner at last arrives in the old castle town, Artira, where their client,
So, since we play the Falcons this week in Atlanta, there's a chance that the Seahawks could play well enough defensively to make Falcons fans start to scream, "Get that N-word on the field."
Yeah, let's fucking go. Be awesome.
Like, that's a realistic possibility. That's a scenario that could happen.
Desolate a place than I'd heard.
Not many people out. It's like everyone's afraid of something.
Ah, you're here. I've been hoping you'd show up soon.
I know it's been a while, but we pledged to help you. We'll not go back on our word.
Glad to hear it. I'm sure Lady Joanna will also be pleased. Oh, your pardon. Lady Joanna rules this city. She's also a most holy sanctuaress of the Sanctus Church. She lives there, in Criganti Castle.
I take it the locals are hoping for His Eminence Forden to win the tournament?
Aye, naturally. No sane and righteous man would want Luis on the throne. Speaking of, I heard there was a scuffle on the road between two candidates gauntlet runners. The criers say Forden's allies suffered the worst of it.
Ah, well, that's Luis's camp for you. I assume it was them. I mean, some nasty characters at his heel, eh?
Luis is nothing but a tyrant.
Yes. Such atrocities in his name. Unforgivable.
Captain, are you sure we can trust these strangers? These bounty boarders are always in it just for the money.
Looks like his officer's not on our side just yet.
Dinna be rude, Morris. They've come a long way for our sakes. Now, I'm sure you must be knackered from the journey. Let me show you to an inn. You can try our local speciality, perhaps.
Ah, you've a local delicacy. It would be a welcome treat.
You chaps go on. The old girl needs a bit of maintenance after carrying us so far.
Can't that wait until you've eaten?
Too much at stake, lad. Go on, don't worry, and I'll sort her out. Might well fix the Bally Waterworks while I'm at it.
Come, everyone. This way.
Is this some kind of smoked dish?
Roasted larvae of the giant sandworm.
Oh.
It's Martira's culinary speciality. Cooked to a delicate finish, just enough to preserve all the natural juices and flavors of the innards.
Oh, good. Larval innards.
It is a unique texture, to be sure, but the taste is divine. Exquisite.
You're completely serious, aren't you?
Something the matter? Do try some of your own
Hasn't what's his face been actually doing really well this season though?
Cousins.
Kirk? Yeah.
Oh,
Kirk.
oh yeah. But if we play really well and he has a bad game against us, maybe we can be the team that you know.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the only Pokemon generation that I haven't played, before they put all the shit on the Switch, was, 6. And I know that it's 6 because that was X and Y, which was the one where, the fire starter was for the very first time. It was actually something really interesting. They did fire and psychic as the combination. This is the only time ever that the starter, one of the potential types was psychic. And they picked the fire one for it too. That was cool.
I played the remake of Red, which I think was called Fire Red, on an emulator many years ago. I don't know what gen that belonged to, if that's even considered to be a gen.
Well, every single game is part of a generation. The new generation starts typically with the new stuff. So Fire Red was the first remake that they did. That was Generation 2. Because they had taken, it was a remake of the original with included Johto Pokemon. Then Generation 3 was after that, Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. Which was a pretty good generation too. Then Generation 4 was Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. And Generation 5 was Black and White, including Black 2 and White 2, I think. Then Generation 6 was X and Y. Then Generation 7 was Sun and Moon, which was the last one that I played. because it was the last one that actually came out for a handheld. Everything after that, I don't know what generation they're on by now, but everything after that only came out on the 3DS. Pissed me off because it's just fucking expensive, you know?
Right.
I got my 3DS on sale for less than $100.
And like I said, I have a Switch. I'm not going to play the Pokemon games because I don't want to give Nintendo money for that low effort crap.
Can you fill us in on the details of all these kidnappings?
Aye. Our wee ones have been going missing for at least 6 months. All told,
Yeah, and I agree.
we're looking at 15
Actually,
children.
Fire Red might have been Generation 3, because I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, I think that the remakes are like 2 gens behind.
Okay.
I'm going to check right now. Just a second.
Seems to me that with nothing else to lose, he's gone rogue.
Nice. My whole team honored me. Let's go. And the win, which is, of course, the most important part.
We must end this quickly, for our sake and his own.
If I recall the brief, it'll be quite a feat to even get.
Yeah, it was Generation 3, my bad. So Gen 3 was Fire Red, Leaf Green, along with Ruby Sapphire and Emerald.
I liked Fire Red. I remember enjoying it.
So, is Heisme's hideout way out here? Looks pretty far from Martira. Let's see here. It's your let's all right.
Now that you mention it, I have to wonder how we can even survive out there.
We've been chasing any lead we have, but we can't figure it all out.
And 4 had Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, along with the remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
We'll get this job done.
Awful grateful to have you. And don't worry, we'll pay you what you're due.
Then Gen 5 had Black and White, and yeah, I was right, Black 2 and White 2. I don't know what the difference is. Oh! They had the same Pokedex and everything, but this was the first time that they'd ever done anything like this, and it was actually the only time because they've never done anything like that since. Black 2 and White 2 were actually sequels. Instead of being a new generation, doing a new story and all that kind of shit, Black 2 and White 2 just straight up went, you know what, we're actually just going to continue the story.
I think that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, I really admire that too. So yeah, there wasn't a new Pokedex or anything. They were just like, the whole point of this is just to create a new Pokemon story experience.
Because I always did want the old Pokemon games to have a little bit more story and substance to them, and I'm glad they did eventually start doing that.
Yeah, and they did that instead of remaking the previous generation.
Please, rest your weary heads for today.
If they aren't here calling a free meal out of us, that is.
Now, let's go.
It's been a while.
Exactly.
So then Gen 6, like I said, X and Y, and no remakes, but was huge because it also had Pokemon Go.
That I did play.
X and Y were the thing. Then 7 comes along with Sun and Moon. Then they do Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which was not a sequel thing. It was basically just like, well, we want to take another crack at that because we kind of really phoned it in on the original release. So let's just do better this time. Then they did Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee on the Switch, which was kind of like trying to capture how successful Pokemon Go was and to actually put that into one of the Pokemon games in addition to using the new technology that was available with the Switch to make more gimmicks. And of course, the big one was just returning to Generation 1 only. because they're like, well, most of our consumer base are millennials who don't have children, so they spend all their money on consuming products. So why not just scratch their itch?
Mm-hmm.
Then Gen 8. Oh, I had no idea that it was Gen 8. Because I played, oh no, wait. That's completely right. Somewhere in here, we did miss a remake. There we go. In Gen 6, in addition to X and Y, there was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which was the remakes of those, Gen 3. And I really enjoyed that. Now, I'm super duper fucking pissed, because, like, I really badly want to play the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, because I feel like Gen 4 was a generation that I really wish I spent more time with. So I really, really, really wanted to play it, but again, it's only on the fucking Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me so fucking mad. I'm like, Jesus, man, when I get my loan, should I just buy a Switch? Because, like, there's a tiny amount of fucking games that I want to play on it. But if I don't buy a Switch, I will literally never have an opportunity to play any of them, you know? Because Nintendo obviously will never do ports to PC.
Right.
And I feel like the Switch is just too far advanced for anything like the Dolphin emulator to come out within, like, the next 15 years.
Oh, you can play the Pikmin remaster.
Yeah, I want to play the Zelda games, the Metroid remaster, the Pokemon stuff, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a couple of other things. And yeah, probably Pikmin stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right,
there's remasters for a lot of the GameCube stuff that I liked.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. See you guys later.
Ooh.